if you're not reaching your leads before you start blaming the media source or the company that you're getting these leads from, I want to strongly encourage you to watch this. I've generated over 1 million leads annually, and I've learned a thing or two about how to follow up on them. And if you're like most businesses, you're probably struggling to make contact with your sales leads. And you're probably pointing the finger at the company generating those leads, saying that they're low quality or that they're tire kickers. Believe me when I say this, that is the most common response when people aren't reaching them. And if this describes you, I strongly encourage you to watch this video because I really think we can help you make serious gains in your contact rate. And it's not going to require a lot of effort on your part. So let's dive in. First of all, who are we? My name is Mike Siner, and along with my business partner, Dan Pine, we are the founders of Peak Marketing Service. We're a 7-figure agency. We're generating 1 million plus leads annually. We're covering nearly 100 different verticals. What is that? That's payroll service, HVAC, roofing, HR, office coffee service, steel storage containers, POS systems, you name it, we're in, we're in the vertical. And we've illustrated time and time again that we can produce quality leads in nearly any industry that we want. And that's why I want to talk to you today about what happens with these leads once we get them and once you get them. We're also the winner of the BBB Torch Awards for business ethics. So we take our business and our customers' inquiries and needs very, very serious, and we want to see them successful, because if only one of us is successful, then it's not really a very good relationship. Now, how do we do it on our end? We start with unique offers. We offer highly effective or produce highly effective lead generating systems. We are proud to boast that we have roughly an 80% appointment rate, and we have bulletproof closing systems. And all of these things are probably what, most people have a really good product. They have something that they know can help their other clients. And all that they're really lacking, it's not even the messaging system. It's not the lead. It's the lead follow-up system. It's the lead nurturing. And I know what you're thinking. Nope, nope, nope. That's not right, Mike. We call them, 4 or 5 times a day, and we work them for a week or two, and we're texting. Well, that's not enough. And I want to cover that today, because the people that, if that's your process, you're going to probably convert about 60% less of your leads into appointments than someone else who is using some of the systems that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And lastly, what separates us? Most marketing agencies, they require people to pay a substantial amount of money upfront and just hope for the best. Just trust us. Give us $10,000 and we'll generate sales leads for you. And while we do have special clients that we offer SEO services to, when I first started this business, I remember feeling like a monkey with a tin can. Please just give us $10,000, $15,000 a month and just know that we're going to get the job done. We're going to make leads. We're going to make you happy. And in the end, it was a terrible experience. And we realized we had to separate ourselves. We had to offer something that maybe it wasn't that no one else was offering it, although that's very good if you can come up with that, but something that very few of our competitors were offering. Everybody's happy to take $10,000 from somebody if there are no guarantees, if there are no commitments. So our core business model today, we flipped it backward and said, well, let's put our money where our mouth is and let's just sell sales leads. So that's what we do today. We sell sales leads. Businesses love it. They know exactly what they're going to get for exactly how much they're going to spend. For example, if a roofing company knew, if you give me a qualified sales lead, I'm happy to pay you X amount of dollars for it. And of course, that's driven on a lot of factors. What kind of roof? Is it in Los Angeles versus a small podunk area? How big is the roof? So there's a lot of factors that determine what a roofer might pay for that lead. We're not trying to get into that on today's call, but we're just saying, what a qualified lead is worth to you. If you want to purchase leads from somebody like us, you know exactly what you're willing to spend. All right. our mission is today, especially, is we want to mitigate financial risk to help people and help small businesses to grow and build their companies by offering them performance-based lead marketing. And specifically today, our mission is a little further. We want to help you convert these leads into appointments. We don't want to just give you quality leads at an affordable price. We want you to move forward. So what's in it for you today? Well, let's just be honest. Well, I guess, what am I saying? Leads alone are not going to solve your problems. You need to sell them. And in order to sell them, you need to reach them. And having met with several of our most successful clients, many of which are doing upwards of $50 million in annual revenue, we've discovered some very interesting differences in how our most successful clients nurture and follow up on sales leads compared to many other businesses that constantly struggle with very low contact, or specifically appointment rates as well. This presentation will help you to substantially improve contact rates, improve your appointment rates, and most importantly, to help you increase your sales revenue. And that's why we're all in business, because we want to make money. Specifically, we want to make profits. All right, growing your business. What do you need? We're going to give you today 4 important components to insanely higher contact rates, leading to insanely higher appointment rates. So what's that first one? The first one you need is a unique offer. You have to have something, an offer that is going to solve a problem. You're telling the people, why choose me? Give me something I can't say no to. Like, this is the foundation. We can't do that for you. We can certainly give you suggestions, but rather you're generating leads in-house, outside of house. It all begins with, what problem can we solve for people? Why do they want to buy our solution? Why would they be crazy to say no to my offer? Number 2, you need multiple lead generating systems. You need the ability to have access to multiple marketing strategies that are designed and set up in a way that they move leads from cold prospects to very hot prospects that have serious buying intent. Number 3, you need a time-tested system for setting appointments. And more importantly, getting them to show up. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. You schedule the appointments, you schedule these Zoom phone calls, and then they don't show up to the appointment. We're going to tell you how we solve that, and how literally all of our successful clients, how they're solving it using the same system. And lastly, you have to have a closing system. And that, quite simply, that'll be the last slide of this presentation, is a fully mapped out plan. I mean, completely mapped out, step by step by step. And if you don't have this in your business, you need it. You need it for every department in your company needs this mapped out plan. And in this case, it's a mapped out plan that we're taking the prospect over the finish line and we're turning them into a paying customer. All right. So let's start with the first one, a unique offer. All right. What am I saying? You need to be different. This is where it all begins. You started your business and you said, hey, we love this product. We're going to offer something that people need, consumers need, businesses need. You wanted to be different. You want to offer something that only a few or no one else is promoting or offering. By few, you certainly want it to be somehow, you want your unique elements of that. Some examples of that, what that look like. So I'll talk about, we have some answering service clients, and they will have, our most successful ones, they have a very low entry plan, right? You can jump in for $0 a month. You can jump in for $39 a month. And I realize, and we have a lot of clients that just will not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Now, our clients with $0 a month, they might have a higher per minute plan. So maybe they're $1.48 a minute. Or you could pay a higher monthly plan. They give you options, But the idea is I can market now. Hey, try an answering service for $0 a month. And if that's not good enough, the first month is absolutely free, right? They give you a free trial. Our largest home improvement company, I won't mention their name. Actually, it's not just them. I'd say most of our successful home improvement companies we work with, they will offer free installation, right? This is, you might say, well, that's crazy, right? But, and again, I would say these people, not only, they do offer quality products, they've been in business a long time, so you can trust them. So they might charge quite a bit more for the actual product itself. They might offer no payments for 3 years. You talk about a great promotion. If I need to buy a new roof that, let's say it costs $15,000, no payments for, call it 2 years, no payments for 1 year. What a hook. What an offer that is. I'm telling you right now, people would pay $2,000 more for the same roof simply to avoid having to make a payment for the next 12 months. Some other companies offer guarantees or money back guarantees. Look, I don't know. There's a gazillion ways that you could put a hook out there, a unique offer, something that gets someone to say, well, what do I have to lose? The goal of the offer isn't it doesn't have to be a long-term offer. It needs to be something, how do I get prospect A over here to come on board and say, okay, I'll try it. How can I say no? You're giving me something for free, possibly, or you're making me an offer that is so amazing, I would never want to say no. A unique offer needs to also target solutions for a niche audience, right? A very specific audience, not just one. You can target the entire group, and then you also want to target niches. A couple of examples. Let's talk about Netflix. Netflix it's an American subscription video on demand, over the top, awesome streaming service. But if you remember, like Blockbuster, I used to go there. They had a great product. You could walk in, you could rent videos. And technology changed over time, and I think Blockbuster didn't change with them. You know, some of the downsides were I had to bring the video back. If I didn't have it back within 3 days, I paid a fee. I don't remember what the late fee was. But then you had other agencies like Netflix and other ones who came up with on-demand movies. Go home, never leave your house, just click the remote control on, buy a movie, rent a movie. Everything was just on demand. They found a problem. Look, Blockbuster, you wouldn't think had a problem, but these other companies realized, well, Blockbuster does have a problem. People don't like having to leave to go get the movie, go out in the rain or whatever. They don't like having to return the movie, right? They don't like having to rewind the movie and all the stuff that went with it. So they identified a problem in a way that could make the Blockbuster experience much better. And I think Blockbuster missed the boat on this. Talking about targeting niche audiences, right? For example, if you have an eye problem, right? Your eye's hurting or it's infected, who do you want to go see first? Do you want to go see your primary care physician? Or do you want to go see an eye doctor? Well, you're going to trust the niche people, right? You're going to go after the eye doctor. So let's just talk about answering service. Again, that's one, it's a new growing industry for us. So it's why I bring it up. We're mostly in the home improvement space, but for the answering service space, like when we create our marketing programs, we don't just solicit it as an answering service. That's boring. So we speak directly to attorneys, right? We might have a video out there that's targeting, our Google AdWords might target specific searches like for attorney answering service. And then we'll have a video and we'll break down, how does it pay for itself? You know, why would an attorney waste their time with an answering service? And we will really work overtime to help them understand how it pays for itself in the first month. And then usually we'll even give a hook. We'll say, not only will it pay for itself, we're so sure that it's going to pay for itself 10 times over. We're going to give you the first month absolutely free. We don't even need, now we're not an answering service. This is a hypothetical hook that our clients would use. We're going to give you the first month absolutely free. We don't need your credit card. Why am I doing this? Because if the product is really good and an attorney says, yep, I see it, I get it, and they try it for 1 month, and maybe you limit the phone calls, 50 phone calls, 25 phone calls. enough for them to realize, oh my gosh, I never realized how much value there is in a phone answering service. I never realized how many clients I was missing. You wouldn't, it's that unique offer. Get it for free for 30 days, 50 phone calls, whatever makes sense to you, right? No credit card, nothing to risk. This way, we're taking the focus off whatever the price point is to get them on, and we're just getting them hooked on the service right away. Because the reality is, your price point, you can be the highest in the market, but if you can just get them on board for 30 days, they can discover the value in the product that you're offering to them. All right, message. Back up here. Sorry, let's get into the messaging real quick. What is your hook? Okay, think about it. Who is your audience? What are their problems? Now, this is something I don't know if you're a payroll service or you're an HVAC company or a coffee service, but ask yourself, what problems are you solving for your people? What is your messaging? What do they need? How are you solving their problems differently than your competitors are? I want to be very clear. We practice what we preach. We're a digital marketing agency. At the end of the day, we sell SEO services, but don't get me wrong, 95% of our business, or 95% of our competitors also sell SEO services, but only a small percentage of them offer a pay per lead program. So we reverse engineered it. We put our money where our mouth is. We said, well, hey, we'll do some SEO services or other marketing solutions, and we'll generate the lead. And instead of selling the SEO side of it, we'll just sell the lead side of it. So we're essentially doing the same thing. We're doing marketing. We're doing lead generation through SEO, social media, Outbrain, et cetera, et cetera. And then we just sell the lead. So that makes us different. Now, we're not giving away anything for free, but we're going up against the guy who says, hey, it's $5,000 a month for our digital marketing services plus 15% agency fee. Well, that's their sales pitch. And our hook is, okay, well, we'll do the same thing and you'll just pay us each time we put a lead in your hand, right? So which one's safer? Roll the dice for 5,000 plus an agency fee, 5,000 probably ad spend. And then you've got a 15, 20% agency fee, or just a flat rate. I'll pay X amount of dollars per lead with no commitment. If we don't deliver, you back out, right? But so again, why am I doing this video? Because we do find there are too many clients who, unfortunately, they're getting the leads, but they're not contacting them. And that's for a number of reasons. Once we get the lead to them, do they have a hook? Do they have that hook to get people extra motivated, to remind them of why they reached out in the first place, right? Sometimes we reach out and a week later, we just forget about it. I've done it many a times. The follow-up process is where we sort of get to keep reselling this hook. In a moment, we'll also be talking about how it is we lock in those appointments for an upwards for us, an 80% appointment rate. How's that doing on your end? 80%? I would say most people watching this video are enjoying a 10 to 20% appointment show up rate. All right, so lead generating systems. This is number 2. All right, we got the hook out of the way. We can talk about that. You can figure it out. You get your hook, you get your offer, you get what's gonna really sink your teeth into that client where they're like, that prospect, I've got to talk to these people. That's exactly what I need. All right, then we've got to start generating leads. Some of you guys might be using us, right? How do we get the leads? A lot of people use lead generators. A lot of people use Google Ads. My biggest clients also use TV, radio, TikTok, LinkedIn. Let's be clear. My most successful clients use pretty much all of these and then some. They're knocking on doors. So this is your paid media. And of course, then there's free marketing, which is organic SEO. If you have the time to do it, it requires a boatload of hours. There's email list. If you build your email list, you can fire those monthly emails off on a monthly basis. Referrals, word of mouth, and podcasts, if people invite you on their show. But generally speaking, most of us, we're going to spend most of our time focusing on paid lead generating systems that just keep the leads coming in. Now, I'm going to say this again. I can't say it enough times. Paid and free traffic, doesn't matter how you're getting these leads. They have absolutely no value if you don't have a proven plan to move leads from low interest, right? So low that they won't even call you back, even though they filled out your form. Or when you do reach out to them, they respond, I'm not interested, or they respond, take me off your list, or however. Maybe some of them just they change their mind. They just say, nah, I never made that request. Somebody else put my name in there. Seems very unlikely, but those are the type of things a lot of people see in any industry. But you want to move them from the lowest interest at the top of the funnel and put them into serious inquiries at the bottom of the sales funnel. And this is where most businesses are dropping the ball. A lot of people have a hook. If you don't, you better get one. You better get something that makes you unique and offer something special. A lot of people can generate leads, right? We can pay Google AdWords, TV, run an ad on the radio. We can all do that. But then what happens after that? This is where people tend to mostly drop the ball. So let's talk about as these leads come in. Now, maybe you got this lead through a TV ad, through Google AdWords, or maybe you got it through a lead generator. However you got that lead doesn't matter. But what you do with them immediately does matter. Your very first goal is to move them to a landing page. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. We'll talk about that shortly. But again, whether you're generating leads in-house or buying them through a third-party media, you have to have a system that drives that prospect to a landing page that is specifically set up to get them interested, excited, and into your funnel so they can become an appointment. So what do you do? What does this landing page look like? Now, again, maybe you bought a lead from us. Again, it doesn't matter how you got the lead, but let's say you got the lead from us and immediately you're gonna reach out to them probably by phone. And if you don't reach them, you're also going to push out a text message. And I would probably send the text message whether I reach them or not. And that text message is going to, once again, immediately highlight your offer, your hook. It's going to remind them of the problem that they need solved. And you're going to have an amazing offer that they're like, I got to follow up. I filled out this form. I have to respond. I want to talk to these people. Offer something special. Don't be like everybody else who's like, hey, we're just following up on you to sell our product. You've got to go more than just asking for the order. I once worked for a company. I remember they had all these salespeople, and I used to call them order takers. That's all they did. Literally was just they were looking for somebody who was already ready to close the deal, and their salespeople were terrible. What you need is people who understand how to slowly and carefully move people through the journey, right? We've got to get them so excited that you should never be asking for the sale. 90% of the time, they should be asking you, what do I got to do to get started? You have sold your product. You have a great hook. You've solved a problem, and you've done exactly as you're supposed to do when they are asking you, how do I get started? Exchange something on this landing page. Exchange something of real value for their contact information. That's what you want, their phone number and their email if you didn't get that initially when you first started. So on this landing page, give them I don't know, there's so many examples. Let's say I'm a health or diet consultant, right? Maybe I say, I am going to give you some advice and information that it's peer-reviewed studies that you will lose 12 pounds in the first month. I'm making stuff up here, of course, but like I'm saying, okay, and you don't have to give me any money. Just give me your contact information. Put your phone number in there. It's all in a PDF file. You get it free as soon as you plug in that data, your name, email, phone number. We're going to give you this study, and we're going to tell you exactly step by step how you can lose 10 pounds in the next month. And then immediately what I'm going to do from there is once they fill out that information and click submit, immediately they would go to a landing page that gives them exactly what I told them I would give them. Don't trick them. Don't shortchange them. You give them exactly what they agreed to purchase. Now, or to get for free. So once they've looked at that, throughout that splash page or whatever you want to call it, You then move into something even more exciting, more promising that says, hey, we can also offer you this. This is amazing. Here's a way you can, instead of losing 10 pounds over the next month, here's a way you can lose 10 pounds even easier. And it takes less effort. And guess what? It'll blow your mind. It's only $19 a month, making stuff up again. So what do? That then leads them to a calendar to book an appointment. Again, these are all various different offers. I'm just throwing stuff out there right now. I don't know what your business is, but you have a secondary offer that's even more exciting. And then you lead them to say, hey, you interested? Here's our calendar. Click on the link, book an appointment. If you're not pushing your calendar constantly, you are missing the boat. You have to get people to book the calendar. And then once they book the appointment, you've got to continue to reconfirm the appointment, verify the appointment, push the promotion out again, remind them why they filled it out and what exciting stuff they're about to be receiving on this appointment. You never stop doing that. You follow through all the way up until the day of the appointment. And then let me just say this, have a short contact form. Some people go way over the board. They're trying to, it's like an application. You're just trying to get people into your system at this point. It's the starting phase. You can get longer forms later down the line. Look, a phone call, always have a phone number, absolutely, where people can reach out to you. But keep in mind, generally speaking, today's culture, we don't like to call, even though we're interested. We just don't pick up the phone. I mean, when's the last time you called and ordered a pizza? We don't do it. We just go online. We don't want to talk to somebody. I just want to order a pizza. I don't want to deal with people. And I just want to get my pizza delivered to me. So I want the product. I want the pizza. And maybe they had a great offer. I'm getting 2 pizzas today for $20. I love the offer. I want the pizza, but I don't want to call. So I'm going to fill out a form, or I'm going to place my order, in this case, online, e-commerce. I don't know if it's Amazon or wherever you're at. When we're buying stuff, we generally, not always, but we generally don't feel like talking to people. We want to see the product. We want to be able to read reviews, maybe read the features, and order. Uber, right? We don't want to call a taxi. We love Uber. When that first came out, I remember when it first came out, I was like, I got my phone. I'm just going to get on here, and this is the greatest service ever. You just press a button and Uber comes and finds you. It knows where you're at. I mean, what an ingenious thing. You talk about disrupting the taxi market. When Uber came out, they completely disrupted that entire industry. And we love it because they solved a problem. It's easier, it's faster, and it's cheaper. My God, what a brilliant idea it was when these people started Uber. All right. Let's talk about nurturing the lead. What did I say earlier? Leads alone do not grow a business. If all you're doing is calling the leads a few times over the first week or 2, or maybe a few text messages, you're not going to be very successful. We had a client that was in the payroll industry, a very large company, and they were looking for payroll leads, and we were selling them about 600 leads a month. And all they kept saying is, I recall the word, tire kickers. We never reach them. They're not interested. And then we talked, and I said, and they were very, very good to work with. I said, well, will you talk with us about your follow-up process? And they're like, yeah, sure. Immediately we call it right away, and we send them a text right away. But within 2 weeks, this company was done with the lead. That was I was shocked. I was like, you're spending this amount of money for these leads, and you walk away. And they were just, in their mind, if the person didn't respond, typically within the first couple of days, it was a bad lead. It was never a good lead. But here's what I told them. I said, look, there was a time where this person was sitting at their computer or on their phone, and they started thinking about a problem they had. Maybe it's because they saw one of your ads, and then they responded to it like, yeah, that's a problem for me. And they went in there and said, here's my phone number. Here's my name. Here's my text, my email address. I want to talk to you. And then something happened between that point and when we started following up with them, right? The payroll company started following up with them. Well, what happens, guys? We do this all the time. We have interest. We fill out a form. somebody calls us back. We don't recognize the phone number. So, I don't know that. With these smartphones today, if it doesn't come up with caller ID and we don't see someone's name, we presume it's spam and we immediately hang up. We're going to talk about how we solve that problem too, by the way. Well, I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler alert because I think this is important. Literally, if you call that lead 3 times, if you call and they don't answer, hang up, call right back. If they don't answer, give it maybe another 30 seconds and call right back. You will be shocked at how many times people will pick up between the second and third one. It's a fear factor. They're wondering the first time, spam, not answering it. They know they filled out a form. They don't know it's you. They hang up, right? They say spam. The second time they say, oh, they're calling back. Okay, maybe a salesman, don't answer. By the third time, it's like, well, what if this is important? Why are they calling me back? And then you have some type of, if they answer, you have some type of an intro line. Says, I don't, come up something to sort of dispel and help explain why you called 3 times. Say, oh, I'm sorry, I kept going to voicemail. I thought whatever it is you want to say. But the third time they usually answer. And usually if your introduction makes sense, like, oh yeah, I did want to talk to you. Shoot, sorry. I'm glad I answered this phone call. Right. Or sometimes maybe somebody fills out a form on a weekend, or maybe they fill it out on a Wednesday or Thursday. Well, guess what we don't like to do at the end of the week? We don't like to book appointments, right? We don't want our Friday tied up. We don't want Saturday or Sunday tied up. We don't really want to deal with stuff when we're ready for the weekend. Do you know that most appointments are booked and you're going to find most success on a Monday? Because we've already made our decision. It's Monday. I've got a lot of work to do. The weekend is nowhere in sight, so we're getting stuff done. So you're going to find leads that you receive at the end of the week, be it Thursday or Friday, they're going to respond a lot slower than somebody who reached out to you on a Monday. Okay. So again, make sure you're calling these leads a lot. Keep in mind that only a small percentage of leads are going to immediately book an appointment. I would say 25% of these will book an appointment. So, and again, talking to this payroll company, we were like, you've got to stay on top of these. You cannot give up. Call them 3 times and you're going to have a continual text messaging situation. You're going to be calling, you're going to be emailing. But more importantly, we got to keep coming back to this hook. We have to keep coming back to the system that's going to get them back on board, that's going to move them to your calendar, that's going to get them to book an appointment, and it's going to get them to actually show up. And using this system, when they put everything into place, this is exactly what they did. They went from calling our sales leads a bunch of tire kickers to how can we get more of these good leads? Many people are just too busy. Maybe they're just not fully sold. They were interested, maybe they're at the very top of the buying funnel. Yes, that happens sometimes. People fill out forms when they're thinking they can afford it. They're thinking it's something they want, but then they don't immediately follow through. But we know they were thinking it. There's an interest. So we don't want to give up too soon. Maybe they still have questions, but they don't. Remember what we don't want to do. They still have questions, but they don't want to talk to you right now. They filled out your form, hoping for more information, hoping for more stuff to get them excited. And again, this nurturing system through text and emails should continue to say, here's another reason you should buy from us. Here's another reason you'd be crazy to say no. And here's another reason. And you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And each time you're doing this, you're reminding that person of, this is why I filled out the form in the first time. Because I was identifying with a problem that I'm having and I needed a solution. And thank you for, maybe it was the 5th email or the 10th text message. Now I remember why I filled it out and I need to move forward. Or maybe something else triggers that along the way, that problem that they're having, something triggers that problem again. And then they get an email the next day. They say, glad this guy kept going. Sometimes we respond. Like, I love text messages. It's way better than having to jump on a phone call with somebody. But a lot of people just, hey, just book an appointment. I'm like, how about you try to be a little more personal? How about you try to communicate with me? How about you tell me, why should I call you back? Not just because I filled out a form. Motivate me with something that is in it for me. Perhaps you need you have to have a time-tested system to continually stay in front of your prospects who showed initial interest in your offer, right? And then ultimately, you've got to move them through a process if you want to turn them into an appointment. Don't expect them to fill out a form. You call them. Look, this is the perfect world, right? They fill out a form. You call them. It might work for your doctor, right? Oh, I've got an ailment. I'm sick. I fill out a form. Of course, I'm going to respond right away and book an appointment. But generally speaking, for consumer or B2B products and services, we probably reached out to more than one person. You're not the only one I'm talking to, right? So you've got to continue to push your name, push your product, push your offer in front of me so you can ultimately get me moving into the very bottom of the sales funnel. All right, number 3, your appointment setting system, right? We've got the offer out there. They're excited. We're generating sales leads. We've got everything going. What are we going to do? So there are several best practices for you to convert a lead into an appointment. Again, this is that area where everyone just drops the ball because they don't understand how this system should work. So let's talk first about multi-channel lead nurturing. I know I've said some of this before, but I want it to sink in. All people respond in different ways, and they also all respond at different times. You need to work every channel to get them engaged and turned into qualified appointments. How does that look? Email. I'm emailing you the very moment you hit my system. I'm going to email you. And then I'm going to email you maybe weekly at first for the first month. And then I'm going to email you possibly monthly after that. And each email will serve a different purpose. One email may say, hey, thanks for reaching out to us. As a reminder, you were interested in our awesome dietary system, help you lose 10 pounds in 30 days, guaranteed, or your money back, or whatever, right? We reinforce that. Here's a calendar, book an appointment. You're going to be text messaging people. You're going to be following up with the same kind of messages, a little different depending on text, not as long. You can say a lot more in email and put images in there. You're going to be phone calling. You might want to be also using, and again, some people, if they responded to you through social media, maybe you shoot them a message through social media. Look, some people they live on social media. That's how they talk. They get a private message from you because they responded to you by a form. That's how they might communicate with you. You need to be on every channel trying to reach these people and constantly being polite, constantly pushing out, your offer, different promotions, maybe case studies, right? Find unique ways. You have to brainstorm. Come up with 4 awesome ways. Like, what problem do we solve for these people? What are 4 compelling offers that people would say, oh my God, not only does that solve a problem, I'm crazy not to take advantage of this. I'm on board. I'm going to book an appointment. And again, what am I saying? Through every email message, through every text message, through every social media message, put a link to your calendar. Say, book an appointment. First, sell it, promote it, drive it home. And again, here's my calendar. Every single message needs that calendar until they booked an appointment. Okay. Qualifying the sales leads. Through your messaging process in your multi-channel system, you want to consistently pre-qualify leads to see if they're even worth your time for an appointment, right? So for example, just an example, let's say if somebody has only 2 employees, maybe you're a payroll company and you only deal with high-end companies of 50 employees or more. So somebody only has 2 employees, well, they're not going to be a good fit for you or your company. Politely let them know, right? Let them know, figure out how to get that information from them so you're not wasting your time. Whatever would qualify a prospect as a good fit, try and capture that information along the way. You can do this through surveys and forms and all kinds of things. You want to keep them short, you want to keep them simple, but you just want to capture this information as we're moving through the system. Remarketing. So this looks different in a lot of ways. Expect it to be very common that when you capture a lead and they don't engage with you, at least they're not going to engage with you. Most of them, I'm saying upwards of 75, 80% will not engage with you at first. So perhaps they're just too busy. and they're to follow up on something that they were initially interested in. Maybe they were on a public transportation, they were in a cab, and they're just on their phone and they see an ad and they respond to it. Well, now I'm at work and I don't have a whole lot of time for this, right? There's all kinds of things that happen from the very second I fill out the form to maybe just 5 minutes later, right? Things change. Perhaps you need to constantly remind them about their initial interest through remarketing. Now, keep in mind, you can retarget people through phone. One that we sell you a lead, right? You're going to target them through phone. You're going to retarget them through email, text messaging, and you should prepare to do this for no less than a month. I've got my number one most successful client retargets them for up to a year. After the first month, it's usually through cold calling and telemarketing and different presentations and offers that they put out there. If you captured the lead through your own social media marketing or Google AdWords, you can literally do remarketing, where you continue to push ads again out to these very same people who responded to your ad or landed on your splash page or landed on one of your sales pages, right? And then maybe they did or did not fill out a form, but you can remarket them and keep those ads and those offers, those hooks constantly coming out in front of their face to constantly remind them. So when they're ready, they can take the next step. Remarketing messages should be a combination of value-driven information, right? Don't just go, oh, we're a payroll service. Again, I'm just trying to use some common industry examples. Whatever your service is, maybe you're an HR company, maybe you're a roofing company. Value-driven information, special offers, mix it up, and always with calls for appointments via direct link to your calendar. Now, let's talk about increasing appointment shows, right? You want them to show. You schedule the appointment, right? This is where a lot of people fail. Again, they schedule the appointment. You finally got the hook. You got them to give you their information. They went on your calendar. They said, I'll see you 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. And then they don't show up. Many companies tell us that they are lucky to see a 25% appointment show up rate. It does vary by what industry you're in and what your hook might be. But this is, again, mostly because they typically have a set it and forget it appointment system. They set the appointment and then they just show up for the appointment, right? Well, I'm saying this. Once an appointment has been set, you should have an automated system, first of all, that requires confirmation of the appointment. What do I mean by confirmation? As soon as they set that appointment, boom, text message and an email comes through. Hey, this is Mike. You booked an appointment for Friday at 2 p.m. Your time is important, and we respect that. We want to make sure that you were the one that booked this appointment and that 2 o'clock is fine. Would you just reply or type yes and confirm that you'll make this appointment? You just get, literally, it's like a double commitment. We're saying, yes, we're going to come in, we respect your time. And then each reminder after that. So after you've got the confirmation, literally every day, unless it's like a month out, but hopefully the appointment was set within the next few days, each day, shoot them a text and shoot them an email, something different, reinforcement of another hook, right? Hey, here's something else that you're going to love this. Here's another offer that you should consider. Here's another promise, or here's another problem that we're going to solve. All kinds of different things. Maybe you have a case study. Like, keep reinforcing the need for this appointment by reminding them of how you're going to help solve their problem. And again, there's no appointment linked to a calendar unless you're saying, hey, for any reason you can't make this appointment, right? What do we do? If we can't make it, a lot of times we're not going to take the time to go in and cancel. Now, if you've got an offer, hey, if for any reason you're not able to make this appointment and want to reschedule, put a calendar link in there. You talk about changing the game. You've got the confirmation, you've got the follow-up notifications reminding them about the appointment, and then lastly, at the day of or the day before the appointment, you're saying, hey, just reminding you about our appointment today at 2 p.m. And if for any reason you can't make it, we understand. Please use the link below to reschedule. And our company, for the record, has an 80% appointment show-up rate. Compare that to everyone else's. And that's because we follow these same systems that I've just described to you in this video. And I'm not saying we have an 80% appointment rate. No, that would be absolutely amazing. but we do have, of the appointments that we book, we have an 80% appointment rate where people show up. And our sales conversion rate, because of the system we offer, is, believe it or not, closer to 85%. It's very, very high. All right, last slide, guys, and I want to thank you all for your time today. If you don't have something that looks like this is, in this case, this is a hypothetical closing system. If you should have one of these maps built out for every system in your company. So in this case, this is what happens when we get the lead. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of this so you can see. You're writing out a process. How are we going to follow up on leads, and what are we going to do if this happens versus if that happens? So here it is. Start right here. Lead comes in. What's the first thing you got to do? So let me be very clear. I promise you, if you don't respond to this lead within 2 to 4 minutes, your opportunity to contact this company within the first week are down by 50% right away. You have to follow up. You have to follow up. Hopefully, the second that lead comes in, boom, call right away. Anything beyond 5 minutes, you're already off to a bad start. Okay, so we call the lead. This is what happens. I get the lead. I call it within 2 minutes. Then I ask myself, okay, so what's the first question? Did I make contact with this customer? And why am I building this out? Because if I did or didn't, then I ask myself, what am I going to do next? So let's go ahead and start with no, because that's the problem we're trying to solve today. So I called him up. He didn't answer. I call up, right? I get a voicemail. I'm going to do 2 things in this case. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call back 3 times. Remember, back to back. It may be uncomfortable. I'm telling you, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Your contact rate. Call that customer 3 times. You'll probably see an immediate 35% increase in your contact rate on the first day. It's uncomfortable. Do it. So I'm going to call them 3 times. 1, hang up, call them again. 2, hang up, call them again. So, Mike, sorry, you kept going to your voicemail. I wasn't sure if I was dialing the right number. Whatever feels comfortable for you, you say that. Secondly, I'm also going to immediately, if I didn't make contact, they're getting a text from me and they're getting an email. And of course, the 3 phone calls. This all goes together. And this stuff is happening daily, weekly, and monthly. All right. So the next question, I just did all these. I immediately shot an email and a phone, automate. This stuff should be automated. You should not be having to do this manually. Boom. I shot an email. I shot a text message. Now I called them 3 times. Did I make contact? Did I reach the person? If no, I'm going to add this person to my monthly email. So now I've called the guy. Again, I'm skipping a few steps here. I built this out really quick to give you an idea. I am probably, if I didn't reach him, am I going to call 3 times, 5 times the first day? I'm going to call 5 times on day 2. I'm going to call 3 times on day 3. I'm going to skip day 4. Maybe that's what you find worse. I'm going to make sure I call them on the very first Monday 3 times, because that's when contact rates seem to be the highest, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's say that I did reach him. Okay, I reached them. Are they a qualified lead? So same here. I did reach them the first time. I reached them here. Answer is yes. Immediately we go, okay, if we've been able to do this, are they qualified? Obviously, if not, what am I mapping out? I'm mapping out that we will not follow up with them. We're going to end it from here. They're not qualified. Or if they are qualified, this is yes. What do we do next? Next, this is a qualified customer. I spoke to them. They're qualified, made contact. Now we're booking the appointment. Okay. Now I booked the appointment. Along the way, these are the next steps I'm doing simultaneously. I'm sending out, actually, I skipped a step. First, I'm sending immediately when you book that, I'm sending a confirmation, asking you to double down, meaning I'm saying, would you please type yes, just confirming that, this appointment is good for you. Then I'm also going to be sending out reminder SMS text messages and emails, right? I want to automate this whole thing, and I have special messages on each one, and they're not long. And don't send people like a newspaper article that's going to take them 10 minutes to read. They need to be able to read it and digest it very quick and remain excited. Then I'm going to, again, send out my offer, remind them of the offer through SMS text message and email. And then what's next? Okay, here it is, appointment day. You're going to ask yourself, did they show up? Now, what happens if they didn't show up for the appointment? You're going to start retargeting through a different set of text messages and SMS messages, right? SMS messages, I'm sorry, and email. And again, you're starting the process all over. We have a new set of messages that hopefully lead them into booking an appointment, and we sort of circle back around. Now, let's say they did show up. If they did show up, instead of no, right, they're going this way. Yes. So what is my next step? Let me stop again. What are we doing here? We are literally building out an entire process. I'm saying every step of the way, what do we do next? And I'm talking about automating this stuff. You should not be manually doing this. You will go crazy. This whole thing, though, has to be in writing in a form that looks like this, that says what happens when this happens. There may be 4 or 5 scenarios. They did this, they took this step, they did that step. Maybe there's 5 different actions they could have done. You have to map out, okay, in each case, what would I do next? So they showed up. Okay, yep, they showed up. Yes, what are we doing? Well, obviously, we are now doing a presentation. We're giving our sales pitch, right? And then the next question, did they sell? Yes or no? If they did not sell, we then start sending them, okay, thanks. You know, would love to reach out to you in the future, right? But we continue to have other emails. They go into a different bucket, and we would then email them, maybe not a lot of text messages after this. And again, this is not a daily thing. At this point, we're reaching out to them maybe once a month, and we send them monthly. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how I ended up on the last page. We send them monthly emails that will continue to reinforce the value of the services that we are offering. Funny thing, I love Vistaprint. I buy stuff from Vistaprint all the time. And one would think you would get, I get emails probably every 2 or 3 days. They're e-commerce, but it's a different deal every single time. And I swear to you, about once a month, I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. And I will literally make a purchase. And again, they're very good at sign up on their stuff, get their emails to give you ideas of how these follow-up messages look. They different coupons, different products, everything is different. And again, of course, if we did sell the client, we would then move into fulfillment of that. So I paid I think we spent $20,000. My business partner and I, we went to an acquisitions conference and marketing and growing your companies. It was really some of the most successful people were there. I want to say there were 15, 20 billionaires, self-made billionaires too, that were here sharing their stories. And one thing they all agreed on, what you're looking at right now, you would have this in your hiring process. When we're hiring people, what does it look like? Did they show up for the interview? Yes, no, what do I do next? You want something like this for every aspect of your business. And it's no different with how you follow up on leads. Don't just hand it off to salespeople and say, well, we're all just going to call it and whatever happens, happens. And we updated it in our CRM. And you need an automated system, and it needs to be well thought out. It needs to be A/B tested. And you need to know on every possible action someone does or does not take, how are we going to handle? How are we going to get them hooked? How are we going to move them from this step here, from a lead to either 1 or 2 spots? They end up in no follow-up, or they end up as a fulfillment, or 1 or 3 spots, I'm sorry, or they're in a continual monthly value email that I'm sending out to people. All right, guys, I hope that helped you all. I will say this like anything else, a plan is no good if you don't put it into action. We have found that our clients who implement the strategies that I've just shared with you today will significantly increase your lead to appointment rate to sale rate. And I hope you will put it into action.